Thank you. Now let's go.
This guy actually said, right? This guy said Liverpool is going to be up there in the next few years, and not Arsenal. On what basis are you saying that off of? I'll before you continue, I'll let you have a moment to think about your actions and consider your actions because you're talking pure fuckery. This guy said Liverpool will be up when Chelsea apparently gets back up there. When,
Mhm.
if, when
2 years. 2 years.
Liverpool will be up there and Arsenal won't. You see what you're saying? But on what basis are you saying that? Like Liverpool has an aging team, right? Their best players are on the wrong side of 30. Um, Whereas we still have a young team of players that are in their prime, a manager who clearly is not going anywhere. I told you this from before the season started. I said Arne Slot, he's walked into a team that's already pretty established, you know? So we're going to see the real Arne Slot when he has to rebuild his own team, not walk into privileged players like Salah's and your Trents and your Van Dykes and them, man, you know? So that's one thing. So I don't know where you get this basis that Liverpool will automatically be up there and Arsenal won't. Second thing you said is, I
Mm.
was listening to your little Cry Me a River speech about how much you guys have lost your owner and oh, you guys are all at home having a wank at night, thinking about the Roman Abramovich era. Like, oh, my good old owner, bought us all these trophies, and you're talking about
That's
when you guys get back to the top,
see.
acting like you're a privileged big club. Like, bro, you guys have only been around in relevance for 20 years. You guys were born and raised in 2004 when Roman Abramovich came in. So your history doesn't run that far back. You know what I'm saying? So this privilege of we'll get back there. Who says you're going to get back there? You guys were only ever relevant because a Russian owner came in and pretty much gave you guys life. And made you the fan that you are today. If he wasn't around, Chelsea's not saying nothing. Chelsea's not winning any trophies, and therefore you're probably not a fan. You know. So we also have circumstances as to why we're not at the top anymore. Like you've talked about, oh yes, our circumstances is this. Roman Abramovich, Daniel mentioned at Footy, for a while Real Madrid lost their owner in Perez, and then he came back, and then they started, winning things again, winning the Champions League. Like, hello, everything is circumstantial. No one listens to context of why Arsenal isn't winning, the major honors anymore and isn't top of the league like we used to be and not winning leagues on a regular basis. Bro, the circumstances is we fucking lost our owner as well. Our current owners, the Cronkies, who I believe are shit. I don't rate those guys. They've come in and they've, in a sense, sort of ruined the club. They're American owners. They've turned it into strictly more of a business than a football club. They care about their American teams back in the LA Rams and the Denver Nuggets and those teams in America. Like Arsenal's, what I see Arsenal's like collateral for them. Like they don't give a fuck really. It's only recently that the owner's son Josh Kroenke has kind of started being the one that's a little bit more present, a little bit more interactive with the club and with Arteta and with the powers that be. So, anyways, long story short, we were successful when we were at Highbury. Then we transitioned to the Emirates. Then our ownership structure changed. The Cronkies came in, like I said, and that kind of changed everything up. So we all have circumstances as to why, we may not be where we want to be. But it's just funny hearing you talk about that now because no one ever takes that into account when talking about Arsenal and what we had to go through in our transition and the lack of money that we had and the owners that didn't want to spend and the battle for power within our club. But we are, hopefully returning to future glories. And yeah, things are looking kind of good right now, so to speak. As much as I talk shit about our manager, we still got a pretty good team, and we hopefully are going to do some big things in the summer. So, you know what I'm saying? It's all good in the hood.
Is it? Is it really? Is it really all good in the hood? No, I mean
Yeah,
like,
man.
huh? Yeah,
I think yeah, it's all right right now.
yeah.
It's not bad.
So suddenly your tone has shifted to an Arteta in, right? That's
Ah,
what I'm
see, now
sensing.
you're putting words in my mouth. Now you're putting words in my mouth. I never said
No,
all that.
I mean, it sounds like you're like legit the language, right? The way you're phrasing thing. It sounds like you're defending your current manager, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like there were,
Bro, I was defending why we're not winning leagues anymore. I didn't say anything about Arteta.
no, that is I disagree. I mean,
Okay.
I have different parties that can support or agree to what I'm saying, but you were not rating Arteta.
No,
Uh,
I know. Yeah,
early,
I agree. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
earlier. But I'm just saying, like the tone, right? Your tone has shift. Albeit, right, that win against Real Madrid, I do think is really giving you guys like a different high. You guys are clearly on cloud nine. Understandable. I mean, like I
Yeah, I was
said,
gonna say like rightfully so.
Yeah, for guys that haven't been there. Yeah, of course. If it was Chelsea and quarterfinals, to us it's just another game, right?
That's not true. That is completely false, bro.
Uh, nope.
That
I'm
is
telling.
completely false.
Listen, man, we played quarterfinals, we played semis, we played finals and won. At this point, right? Facing a team in the quarterfinals, whether it's Real Madrid, whether it's Barca, Bayern Munich, right? No, whichever other top team, it is. We're not satisfied until we make it to the finals and we win the damn thing.
Yo, should I should expose you right now.
Go ahead.
I should expose your ass. I
Do it.
remember, I remember when we were in fucking high school. All right, let me take it back, way back for y'all. Throwback Thursday.
Jeez, this is
We
crazy,
were in
bro.
high school.
I hope you have the receipts if you're like if you're
Oh, we got a lot of different type of receipts, including you and certain types of kits. But anyways, um, back in high school, right? A certain man, when before you guys ever won your first Champions League, okay, you guys
mm,
played Barca in the semifinals en route to playing Bayern in the finals. Do you remember that? And
mm,
it was Torres who scored that goal. You guys were down a man at the Camp Nou against Barcelona, right?
right.
You remember that game? Do you remember
Yep.
that semifinal?
Hmm.
Yeah. And you and a lot of other like Chelsea fans were ecstatic and over the moon for beating Barca in the Camp Nou against the odds to go
Right,
to the final,
right,
right?
right,
I remember you particularly in the hallways at Pope John Paul Second Secondary School. Big up.
right,
I remember you were fucking going crazy in the hall, and I remember it so vividly. You were just going crazy in the hall after
right,
Chelsea had won that semifinal, right?
right.
Like
All
as if
right.
you just played the game yourself, running around like, and rightfully so. You guys won a semifinal. You hadn't won the Champions League yet at that point, and now you're in a final. You just beat a big club like Messi, Iniesta, them guys. Like, why wouldn't you be happy? There's nothing wrong with it, but you know what I mean. Like, don't act like, oh yeah, Chelsea does this. We do this on a regular basis. Like, so us beating a Barca or a Real Madrid or whoever, you know, like I'm
Wait,
not
but
having none of that.
hold on. Because you went back into the archives for that one, right? And you clearly
Mm.
mentioned we hadn't won the Champions League at that point. All right.
Yeah,
So, like at that point in time, this was new to us, right? This was new territory, kind of like how it is to you guys. So, albeit, right, if I did get a little excited, right, and I did what you described, right, running in the hallways and whatnot. All right, that's fair. But now, in this current day and age, standards are not there anymore. We won two. We won it twice, and you know what I'm talking about. We won it twice. Like, what the hell are we doing, bro? If I seen a Chelsea fans celebrate like that, bro, like a hit to the back of the head, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, at this point,
why? Bro, you
because
guys haven't even been in the Champions League. The next time you guys even get in the competition, you guys should be doing an open top
no,
bus parade. That's
nah,
how long
man,
it's been. You guys are not
nah,
even
man,
relevant in the Champions League no more.
nah, man. You see, bro, and that's why we need a manager, like, sorry, an owner like Roman Abramovich back at the club, because that's the kind of mentality this guy would impose, bro. It's like, yo, we belong there. We belong in the finals. You know what I mean? Like, and honestly, man, that's why these teams like Real Madrid, the Barca's, the teams that are always winning, it's because once you're a winner, bro, like it's like it's default setting at that point, right? So yeah, man,
So were
like
you
like I
guys
s-
were you guys factory reset because you've been struggling since 2011?
wait, since 2011,
Yeah, you guys have been struggling
in what departments?
in every single department.
No, in terms of like so when you're saying struggling as in, right, not winning trophies. So
Just in every single department, you guys are struggling. I didn't stutter when I said it.
what trophies weren't we winning since 2011?
No, I'm just saying you've been struggling.
I,
Whether you
uh,
finished with a trophy or not, you've been struggling.
Geez, that's a kind of struggle that I think most clubs would want to have, man. You're struggling and then you're winning CLs, you're winning Premier League titles, you're winning other. I mean, by all means, man. Shit, if that's the struggle, then like, you know. But yeah, no, and I mean, I know you brought other points. If you can remind me, so I can address those as well. So other than
Me?
yeah. When you
Oh yeah, you were talking about how Liverpool's expected to be up there, and you don't think we are.
oh, okay. All right. So in regards to that, um, I think, I mean, you guys now, I think your key piece, um, and I know Mehrdad is going to read to this, right? Where you see, right, the glory days coming back. Um, I assume is Andre Berto, the new sporting director, correct?
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Okay, okay. Um, for one, I would like to see what he does first. Um, yeah, I guess you could say he has a proven track record at his other clubs. But this is new territory, foreign. I'd like to see what he does here first. Whenever that first transfer window comes or the opportunity for players to be signed, right? I'd like to see, who you guys can even entice to come to the club. Because now we both know. Listen, you're laughing, but hey, you guys who didn't come during the transfer or which opportunities did you guys have? Marmoush, right? You had Marmoush.
Bro, the players that don't come nowadays is more so down to us, I would say, as opposed to the players not wanting to come. Like players want to come to Arsenal these days. Trust me. Like that's no longer the issue. We're a very attractive proposition to a lot of players now. It's
But then how
whether
do you
Arsenal as
explain,
a club,
right? Okay.
it's whether Arsenal as a club has the ambition to throw the money out to get the players in these days. Because obviously money talks, right? So you know,
And
a
the
Declan
difference
Rice
is we're not like a Chelsea that goes and blows money away
on stupid
on
players, yeah,
on
for no
89
reason.
million on a Mikel Mudryk who is going to have a 4-year ban for using substances, and all the players that you guys bought for billions of dollars. Now you're trying to figure out a way to push them out of the club because you realize that these are shit players. There's a clear and concise plan with what the club wants to do. Yes, at times I've been very critical that I wish that they showed a little bit more ambition, a la the Marco Asensio signing. But if the game plan was that with all the injuries that they, let's be real, maybe they weren't anticipating getting as far in the Champions League. But now, after beating Real Madrid, we secured another 80 million euros. Now, if we beat them again and get to the semifinals, that's almost another 120 million euros that's already secured without even getting to the finals. That's also going to open up our bankroll for the summer transfer window for us to be able to do bigger things. So these are things that you neglect to understand when you're talking about Abramovich. Yes, Abramovich, had that mentality top down, but it gives you more financial freedom. That's why it's such a struggle for small clubs like Chelsea, like Manchester City, like Brighton, who are pushing for a Champions League spot because they want that money. They want that money to be able to do things. Right now, you guys are facing a transfer window ban because you guys tried to, I think it was something with the women's team. You guys tried to sell it to a subsidiary of the Todd Bowley Fund, and UEFA essentially said no, and you guys might face a ban for trying to financially dope the club to kind of make the numbers go a little bit higher. So a lot of the things that you're saying, it's while I agree to some of it, a lot of it is based off of emotion rather than pure facts. The fact of the matter is, since 2004, Chelsea have won more things than Arsenal. Since 2004, Chelsea have remained in the same stadium and had no debt. Since 2004, Arsenal created a revolutionary new stadium, which nowadays it's not that revolutionary anymore because Man City Stadium came through, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium came through, and there's renovations done in some other stadiums. So that money that we initially spent and paid off could have been spent on buying players. When during that same 20-year window, Chelsea had no debt. So they were able to just spend money. And some of the players that they signed from prior to that point, you know, they started playing well and you guys started winning. But a lot of the things you're saying, it's like
Wait, hold on, hold on.
it's just
So
minute. Like it's to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, bro. It's just like when you have that little brother just talking shit for the sake of talking shit.
right,
That's what
right.
it sounds like, straight up.
Okay, that's fair. But now let me ask you this, right? Because you're making it seem like you guys never bought players, right? Is that like what
I
paint
never
what
said that.
but what picture are you painting though? Like in regards to
I'm just saying, wait, when you're saying
you
that Chelsea won a lot more in the last 20 years, I agree with you. But you guys had the financial security because you weren't in debt for a stadium. We did buy players. We bought Aubameyang during that time. We bought Mesut Ozil during that time. We bought Alexis Sanchez during that time.
wait. So
We,
are you excusing your failure in performing?
when did I say I'm excusing it? You're
Or
giving,
are
you're
you trying to
giving,
no,
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 but
no. But no, no, but you can't say I'm
no,
trying to
because listen,
justify it
you
because you're
you're
trying to
you did this with
justify.
Man City. Like you did this with Man City. Oh, Man City should get their Premier League titles rescinded because of the 114 charges against them, financial fair play, blah 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 blah. Right? It always seems like you're always trying to point your fingers at the winners and No. I'm being dead serious,
But
right? Because you
I'm sticking to the facts, right? If Man City gets found guilty, it would help every single other club. So that's a side conversation that maybe we can put a put it on the back burner for the summertime. But to what you were insinuating, that I'm trying to make excuses or justify why Arsenal didn't win in the 20 years. That's exactly what you're doing right now for Chelsea's piss poor performance after spending $1 billion. And your excuse and justification is that you don't have an owner.
no, I'm saying that's
There's
not again. You guys are
but
misquoting,
no.
misrepresenting
Okay,
what I'm saying.
so then say,
What
say
I'm
your piece and make sure you say it right.
No. What I'm saying is this: is that the owner at the time was a pivotal piece to the club's success.
Exactly. You're
That is
justifying the success. And I'm justifying the
no,
fact
like
that Arsenal couldn't be more successful is because all our hands were tied into paying off that that Emirates Stadium, and also the
listen.
owners were not trying to spend money.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, I don't care what's going on like behind closed door with you guys. You guys didn't win jack shit that is of any relevance. That's the bottom line. It is the bottom line. You can say, oh, arguments, from your little brother, but the point is, you guys have not won shit that is relevant in the last few years. So, what do you want me to say?
I'm just still trying to grasp one. Your arguments are so flawed, but I'll let you have it. It's not a
No, no,
problem,
no,
Laurent.
no.
I'll let you have it.
No. It's not. Forget the arguments. If we look at what was won, right? What was won? Because you guys are saying Andre Roberto this, or Teta this, right? Oh, we need a strike. We need this. We need this. There's always these things that you guys are needing. But then when it comes next year, I really want to know what that excuse is going to be.
But the
If
thing
you
is,
guys do not perform,
you're
if you,
saying all these things.
Mhm.
You're saying all these things, and you're trying to like make a point where you're like all the other fans that are just trying to banter Arsenal. Arsenal have had the most significant injuries by a mile this year. I'm not going to talk about refereeing decisions because everyone can make their own opinions regarding that. We've had the most injuries this year, significant injuries.
Dude,
And
just
we're
win
hold
trophies.
on.
Just win
But
trophies.
hold
That's
on.
what I'm saying. That's the
No,
point of the
but
game.
hold on. But where is Chelsea sitting?
Oh my God.
No, but answer the
You
question.
know,
Stop
it's
saying, "Oh
funny.
my God."
It, it,
Answer the
it,
question.
it's
Don't change
funny.
the
You
subject.
you
Don't
can
change the
you
subject.
can recognize
Don't
a
change the
loser
subject.
by his ability to point to the other losers when he's being put on the spot. That's how you recognize a true loser. Because no, I'm being that serious. It's like
Wait, so you're calling yourself a loser because
we're no
you're
no
pointing to
we're
Chelsea being losers, and
no
you're
no no
pointing
no
to
no
us for not winning
Hold on,
trophies?
hold on.
What
If
type
someone were to ask me, if someone were to ask me, just think about it this way, right? Let's look at the reciprocal. If someone were to ask me, right, why aren't we winning? What the hell am I doing saying, look at Arsenal? Like why would Arsenal even come into the equation? If
Because
if
we
someone's
have
asked, no no
history.
no, it has it, bro. It's irrelevant to the cause. If you're asking me why isn't Chelsea winning, right? I'll give you the reasons why, right? Like, we're not performing. The players we signed, some of them aren't compatible with the system, right? Some of them don't have the caliber to play for a club. But to then turn around and look at the other clubs and be like, well, why aren't they winning? Like, come on, man. That's you're going low at that point. You're going
I'm
low.
not
Just
going
just
low. I'm just
just say no. Just say
I'm
just come out.
justifying.
Just come out and say, be like, listen, we're not we're not there yet. We're not there yet. As much as you want to be there, just say we're not there yet, and that's it.
Not yet there yet. In what context?
In being winners, because it's a fine line, man. It's a fine line. That first and second place, when we look at the table, right? Liverpool, Arsenal, you guys are second, but it's a fine line, and you see what the difference is, right? You see the difference.
The difference is no injuries.
No, listen, I'm
Laurent, Laurent,
again.
Laurent,
Again,
Laurent.
listen, listen.
If
You guys got a whole staff. You guys have a whole
bro,
staff behind, right? That you analyze the
bro,
data, you
CJ, I
analyze
don't
the
know where
play.
this guy's coming from.
No, no.
His
All
team struggled to break down a fucking 17th division Polish team, and
That's
this man's
okay.
coming back. Like,
That's
where is this
that.
coming from?
That's okay, man. That's okay. Like I said, I'm not excusing our performance. I'm not excusing our performance. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not excuse. I recognize that the club is at a low. I recognize that the club doesn't have the caliber to win. I'm being honest. Like, you see what I mean? I can come out and tell you this. But for Arsenal fans, it's like you guys are living in some kind of dreamland where you guys think you're winners, but the receipts show otherwise. The receipts show otherwise.
But that's where it's all faulty. The receipts show
So what have you?
otherwise.
All right, Premier League titles since Arteta has come in.
Yeah, but you're neglecting to talk
Again,
about
again,
everything.
again,
You're
again.
just
It's
talking about
brother. It's the result. At the end of the day,
when was
listen.
the last time Chelsea won the
At the end of
Premier
the
League?
hold on. You
When was
gotta
the
understand.
last time Chelsea won a Premier League?
See, and that right there is the response of nearly man. Because a nearly man, if you ask
This
him,
man saying the same shit,
no,
bro.
no, no,
What the fuck are
it's
you on? Yo, what the
bro.
fuck are you actually on? You're
I just want
literally
you. No, no,
saying the
no.
same argument.
Hold on. Just when you ask me that same question, my answers are straightforward. I do not make excuses for my club's performance. Listen, we lost our owner. That's fine. We're not up to par. We have to figure our shit out. Whatever it is we have to do to come back and and perform at the top level. But when I'm asking you this, right, on the Arteta, where are the trophies? Where are these concrete things that you guys have grasped that shows that this is a club worthy of being looked at as a top Premier League club within the last years? Where are these things?
Oh, so wait, hold on,
Show
hold
them
on.
to me.
So now the goalpost changed from the years Arteta's been here to like you're constantly moving the
No,
goalpost.
no,
That's
no, no.
what you're asking.
The goalpost has not changed. The current era is the Arteta era, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
so then why the fuck are you talking about Abramovich? So
No,
why
no,
the
bro,
fuck are
no,
you excusing Chelsea's piss poor
no.
performance
Hold on,
after
hold on,
spending a
hold on, hold
billion
on, hold on.
dollars?
Again, you're doing. Why do you keep doing that, man? You keep
I'm
doing that,
asking
and
you to be clear. Your
no,
questions are
no.
not
We're
clear.
talking about Arsenal here, and you're redirecting it to Chelsea. I've already clarified to the T that Chelsea is not a top club. I clarified this. Like, there's no
Okay.
other. I don't understand where you're trying to go with this when I'm telling you straight out of my mouth that Chelsea is not a top club.
Okay, so what's the
We should
question for
not
Arsenal?
we
Okay,
should
so
not
let's
even be
move
in the
on.
conversation. So
Okay,
now
so let's move on.
the question is, right, is again, because you tried to paint the picture, right, that Arsenal, right, is this top performing club, or you guys have this thing, like, you guys are performers. But when I ask you now, show me the concrete results, right, that shows that you guys are a top performing club.
Okay. We won the FA Cup with a piss poor team against CJ. Who did we beat in the final?
Yo,
So okay,
goes on.
so hold on,
No,
hold on, hold on.
hold on. I'm not done. I'm not
Yeah,
done.
no,
I'm not
keep going.
done.
Yeah.
We won the FA Cup against Chelsea, who at that time they had an amazing team compared to Arsenal because we were going through that whole COVID phase, and that's when Arteta first came in. That's within his first 6 to 8 months. After that, for the 4 years after that, we won zip. Why? It's not an excuse, it's the fact. He rebuilt the entire team. But at the same time, in that 4 years, we came out of nowhere and pushed the robots in Man City when no one else could do it.
Like,
Did we do?
really?
But did we?
That's what you're
Hold
gonna
on.
put on the resume? We pushed the robots of Man City? Like, come on, bro.
This guy,
Are you no,
honestly.
no, no, like I'm being it's like it's being serious. Like, I'm being dead serious. Because now if I'm asking, right? If I'm choosing between a
Okay, but
striker
hold on.
to put on my
Okay,
team, am I really gonna go for the guy that hits the post every time? Like the guy that nearly scores, or the
hold
guy
on,
that actually
hold
puts the
on.
ball in the back of the net?
But your argument is, Laurent, your
It's not
argument
flawed.
is so
It is
flawed.
re it,
What did Liverpool accomplish with
again,
fucking Jurgen Klopp?
you're
No,
doing it again. You're doing it
you're
again. You do
this
We're
argument
not
that you're
looking at other
bringing
teams.
up
We're looking at
is
Arsenal. We're
so
looking
flawed.
again.
Your
We're looking at
argument is so flawed.
bro.
It's so
There's
flawed.
listen. I don't know what argument. The only argument is I'm asking you if you guys are top performers. If you're top performers, what are the things you have achieved to show that you're top performers? An FA Cup, really?
Yes, an FA Cup.
And so
Yes,
so an
and
FA Cup. Hold on.
pushing the robots that won 4 Premier League titles in a row, which has never been done before,
All
pushing
right,
them
all
to
right.
the final
Now,
day of the
see,
year.
So
What
now
the fuck have Chelsea
again,
done in this
and you do it
era?
again, and you do
No,
it
but
again,
answer
and
the
you do,
question. But answer the.
and
Now
I
I'm asking
and the
you the question.
and the answer is the same. Look at my answer compared to yours. I'm not looking at other clubs. I'm see, and that right there shows the self-awareness. One as a fan, and just as an individual. If someone is pointing the finger at me, right? It's like I messed up on the plate, bro. I'm not gonna go and point the finger at my teammate. You got
But
to
you're
take
twisting the
accountability.
conversation. You're
No, but
twisting it to
there's no
appease
twist.
your argument.
There's
Yes,
no
you are.
twist. I'm
You're
just asking
twisting
you
it
to
to
take
appease your argument.
take accountability.
As soon as anyone responds, you're like raising your voice to try to twist the argument to appease your argument.
There's no
You sound like these white men that are fucking just raising their voice to try to appease their argument and twist it the way that they want. There's facts that I'm speaking, but all you want to do is twist it to say, oh, you're pointing the finger at other things.
But that's what you're doing.
In football, there's context to everything. There's
Bro, there's context to
context to
everything in
every
life. There's context to
exactly.
everything in life.
So then
But at
you
the
can
end of the
twist it.
day,
At the end of
listen,
the day, the fact of the matter is Arteta won one trophy, and the fact of the matter is, in the time that he's been here, he's pushed arguably the best Premier League team in the Premier League era. Chelsea haven't done any of that, and they spent double the amount that Arsenal have done. And that is fact. That's not pointing the finger at other teams. That is just pure fact. And maybe it's because you can't comprehend that fact, but that is a fact. That's not pointing the finger at other people. Jurgen Klopp, who had apparently the best player in the Premier League era, could only win one Premier League and one Champions League. That's all that he could accomplish with the players that he had on his team.
I'm
Arteta
not gonna
within
lie.
6 months.
I would take one
No, no,
Champions League and one
I'm
Premier
not
League
saying.
any
I'm
day.
not
yeah,
saying
In
that's
my
that's what
bad.
I'm
opinion.
saying. Because
I'm not saying that's bad. But now, but
SCL
see,
shows that you're a like you're performing at the top level. That's what it's indicated. Like if you're winning a Premier League season, bro. You said that manager won a Premier League season and a Champions League.
yes,
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 that has top performer written all over it.
yes. Okay, great,
Of course. Now,
great,
but then contrast that with Arsenal, one FA Cup,
great.
and then pushing the robots of Man City, like almost to the brink of self-destruction, whatever you want to call it, nearly came out second that season.
Great.
How you a top performer? How could you
They're a
even
top performer because no one expected that. No, I didn't even expect that. I was happy with top four.
And that's the problem. That's exactly what I'm
How
trying
is
to
that a
say.
problem? How is that a
Because
problem when the team is
because it has
building?
nearly man attitude written all over it, bro.
Bro,
That's what that
but what I'm
has.
trying to understand is where's this argument coming from a bum like Chelsea? Like talking like why are you trying to punch above your weight? I don't understand. Why are you trying to punch above your weight when you know that your team is shit? Like in what context do you believe that you have the right to open your mouth in any context to
Okay,
blast
so
Arsenal
now
at
that's what it
all?
comes. So that's where it comes down to. Okay, so
Yeah.
I can now I can see why you're feeling
No, I'm just trying to
the
I'm
no
just trying to
because
grasp I'm just trying to grasp where we spent, sorry listeners, but I just really want to get to the bottom of it. We spent 30 minutes. I'm just trying to understand where this energy came from because Chelsea have zero fucking history. They're not gonna do jack shit with a bald-headed Enzo Maresca who thinks he's fucking Pep Guardiola, and you got a fucking penalty merchant who can't put the ball in the back of the net because he's scared of his own fucking shadow. And then you got the balls to say something to the team who has been the second best team in the Premier League for the past three
again
seasons.
you do it
And where
again
the fuck have
second
Chelsea been?
second best.
Where the
That's
fuck have
wait,
Chelsea
wait,
been?
that's what
Answer
you're
the
happy
question.
with.
Where the
That's what
fuck
you're
have
happy with.
Chelsea been? Where
That's
have
what you're
Chelsea
happy with.
been? Where's
Wait.
Chelsea been? Where's Chelsea
Again,
been? Where's
again,
Chelsea
again,
been? Answer the question.
again.
Where's Chelsea
I'm
been?
I don't excuse my team. Let me answer it.
Exactly. So don't
No, no,
talk. It's
I don't.
conversation's over. Don't talk.
But wait.
Chelsea, don't talk. You spent $1 billion to fucking finish mid-table. Fuck out of my face,
That's
bro. And you're talking
crazy.
shit. You're talking
What?
shit after you spent $1 billion and
All
you're
right. You
fucking
know what?
finishing mid-table, bro.
Now,
Come on,
now I
bro. Don't
understand where
talk
where, where
shit.
the where the
Don't
celebration
fucking
came
talk
from.
shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
You
Don't
beat
talk
it.
shit. Don't talk shit.
You beat
Don't
it.
talk shit.
You beat a
Don't
team in
talk
the
shit. Your
quarterfinals, and you
team
treat it like
fucking
you
spent
won
a
the quarter.
million billion dollars and you're fucking talking
Listen,
shit to a team that spent 500 million and had pushed the greatest team in the Champions League era 3-0 at home. What the fuck have Chelsea done? The
again,
Champions League that Chelsea won, they fucking barely got over the line against Manchester United. Get
bro.
the
These are
fuck out of here, bro.
bro.
You just can't handle the
These are
facts. You can't
nearly.
handle you can't
This
handle
is
the facts, bro. You just can't handle the facts.
bro.
You
This
can't
is
handle the facts.
bro. I'm here. I'm
These are
listening to the
all
facts.
facts. These are
Listen,
all
I
facts.
don't disagree that they're facts.
You
I
get
don't.
these are
I
all facts.
I'm not
So
disagreeing with you.
hard stop. If you don't disagree that
No,
they're
no,
all
no.
facts, then hard stop.
There,
Conversation's over.
but
Argument's done. You've been put in your place. Now sit down in fifth place and try to fight for that Champions League spot. Because if you don't get Champions League, Laurent,
but
man,
hey, at the end
I'm
of
gonna fucking roast the shit out of you. You said that
wait,
the
you guys should win the
competition
Champions
is
League,
Real
not us.
Betis.
You
You
guys
said
should win the.
competition is Real Betis for Conference League, bro. You better pray Chelsea win Conference League because I'm fucking coming for you, bro. I'm
And listen,
fucking coming for you.
do that all you want. Do that
Bro,
all you
don't
want.
don't speak
But
anymore. It's over. I just ruined you. I wiped the floor with you like Arsenal did with Chelsea the
listen,
past 3, 4 years. Don't
I
it's
don't know about
over.
that.
Conversation's
I don't.
over. Step to the
I don't.
side, let the real men talk. Anyways, welcome to the fiery 30 minutes. If you got through it all, I am so proud of you. Um, I don't know where the banter came from a low level team who barely struggled to beat Liga Warwasa 3-0. But let's start off with a real team beating the
Mhm,
best Champions League team ever, who's won 15 trophies in the Champions League,
mhm,
the Arsenal,
mhm, mhm.
did
The
the
one and only
unthinkable at the Emirates. No one saw this coming. None of us saw this coming.
top
I
performers.
you had I think Laurent had 2-1 Madrid. I had 1-1 and CJ, did you have 1-1?
I
I
had
think
1-1.
I
Laurent had
think
2-0.
yeah, 2-0 Madrid. Man, I don't even know where to begin with this one. I don't like where do we okay, first of all, CJ, I need you to say a couple apologies because both Laurent and I have the receipts of you throwing shade at a certain Jakub Kivior.
Mm. Yeah, no. I was listening to both of you guys debate, and Mehrdad was heavy on the deflection tactics versus Laurent just now. But me, I will own up and take accountability, and I will say that I got it wrong with the QBR one. He played well, so big up Arteta for that. I'll give him his flowers, and I'll
Okay.
give QBR his flowers too. They did well.
Okay. Laurent, thoughts?
Uh, thought it was a good performance by a top club. I think if they perform in this manner, definitely they look likely to win the title. Sorry, to win the Champions League. All players performed, mind you. I do think that Declan Rice. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone would agree that that game was won on his hands and no one else.
100%. 100%.
He opened the account. Not only did he open the account, but he added to the account with that second free kick. And I think that was the second free kick that really demoralized Real Madrid. And you can see that the players were shaken up from it. There was even a capture of Mbappe when that
Yeah.
when that second free kick came in. So yeah, man. At this point, I think they can win the whole thing. That's what I'm looking for, right? Looking forward. And once they win, maybe I'll stop with the banter. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the game.
Oh, you're fucking hilarious. Which one do you think was better, the first one or the second one?
That's a hard one, man. You know what? I will say the second one because of the audacity to go for it again. And
Hmm.
apparently, yeah, the first one, okay, keeper gets beat, right? It's unexpected. But that second one, really, like I'm thinking, bro, everyone's
Wait, can
on
I pause you
high.
for 1 sec? Can I just
Yeah, yeah,
pause you
go
for
on.
1 sec? For the first one, do you blame because there's been a lot of hate on the first one coming out. They're saying, oh, Valverde shouldn't have jumped the way that he jumped. Do you blame Valverde or do you blame arguably one of the best keepers in the world right now for not setting up his wall properly? Because did you see how Valverde jumped? Instead of jumping straight up like this, he like turned. So that kind of gave more of an angle. And typically, from my understanding, is that whenever you want to set the wall, you want to set it 1 foot outside the outside post so that
Mm.
there's no option to kind of curve it around. So do you guys blame Valverde for the way he jumped, or do you blame Courtois for not setting up the wall properly?
I think if you're gonna put blame to it's gonna be a combination of both, I guess. Um, Courtois maybe trusted in the wall too much and left a little bit more space on that side than what should have been probably. But at the end of the day, yeah, I didn't even really get a chance to look back at Valverde's positioning. I was just too caught up in the goal itself. And I ultimately, I think what we have to do is give more credit to the actual goal scorer himself,
Yeah.
as opposed to maybe the errors, because there's still a lot to do from that position. There's so many players who can still take a free kick of that nature, even if there's space afforded to them, even if the wall has been set up incorrectly, and get that completely wrong. Like to the technique, bro, to bend that outside and bring it back in, like it just looks so good every time I watch it. Slow motion just makes it look like it's majestic, bro. Like, and you have legends like Roberto Carlos at the Emirates at that time watching that game. He'll know a thing or two about those kind of free kicks back in his day, and like that from Rice is like, geez, who knew he had that in his locker? Like that is clean, man, clean strike. And then to do it again, like bringing it back to the second goal, like the second one, it's hard for me to figure out which one is actually better. But what makes the second one probably better is the audacity, bro. The audacity to do it twice in the same fucking game in a Champions League quarterfinal against Real Madrid. Like, never mind trying to do that twice on a Sunday league match, with nobody around. You do this on a Champions League night with 60 plus fans watching. Sky Sports, the biggest TV broadcasters, the whole world is just watching that. After you just hit a good free kick one time, you think, okay, I'm going to chill. Maybe even let somebody else take the second one because I don't want to lose my shine. The man says, no, I'm going to do it again. And he put it top bins on Courtois' side, right?
Like that.
Courtois, as you said, one of the best in the world. The guy was saving everything all game. 6'7" frame.
It should have been more. Like, honestly, it should have been more. Like some of the saves, he
put it
single-handedly saved them.
It couldn't have been any more in the corner. Like, that's the crazy part. It couldn't have been any more in the corner. I don't know, bro. I was in. You saw the way we all reacted at the pub at that time, bro. It's like, it was just nuts. I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah, Laurent, you missed out, man. I wish you were there. I fucking wish you were there.
Hey, man. There's always the final, so I think I'm gonna show up for that.
This guy. You know what he's doing? You know what he's doing? I listen. He's doing the same shit that Roy Keane did to Ian Wright, being like, "Oh yeah, Arsenal should go through." Blah 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 blah. It's because he's waiting. He's waiting. He's praying to God. He is praying to God that Arsenal don't move forward so he can talk his shit. But it's okay, bro. I'll allow it. But yeah, what did you think? Did you think it was Courtois' fault with the wall, or do you think it was just a beautiful strike?
So okay, so with the first one, right?
Yeah, with the first one, because the second one, I think, is it safe to say that we all agree that the second one was better?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Probably,
Have you ever seen a keeper save a free kick like that? Like, yeah, usually it's like either you're positioned to already go on that side, kind of thing, right? If you're gonna save that, but no. Back to the question at hand. I mean, if what you're saying is correct in terms of where the positioning should be, right, where players are relative to the keeper and the net and all of that, then yeah, I do think he does have a part to play in that. As clearly, right, they have the duty to make sure that the wall is set up correctly. However, for Valverde's case, I don't even think that if he jumped correctly, he would have even made contact with the ball.
No.
Right.
It's just some of the arguments that I've heard online when I'm just watching game recaps and stuff, and people breaking down the game, and it's just to kind of take away from, in my opinion, just to take away from what Rice did, because I think if it was reversed, if Mbappe, Vinny, or Bellingham had scored that type of goal in the game, it would be everywhere. The discussion would be that's the greatest free kick that we've ever seen in our lifetime and blah 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 blah. But now it's just being undermined by, something like that. Mikel Merino. What a finish. I forgot where I read this. If they were saying, if, for example, we had signed Mikel Merino as a striker in January, we'd all be kicking and screaming with the output that he's had. And the way he finished that, He's a center defensive mid, but the way that he opened himself up to give him that space to be able to finish like that, like a poacher's finish, like that was an unreal finish. I don't even think Kai Havertz could have done something like that. The only player that I would put my money on to do something like that is maybe Saka on our team. Like that was an unreal finish. And you're like I'm in the camp of Courtois is the best keeper in the world right now. And to beat a 6'7" keeper,
From that distance too, he was pretty far out.
yeah, through all the
This wasn't like a
bodies
no
and
tap in,
everything.
bro.
Yeah, so
He had to, get his the angle on that, like turn his hips, that little Spanish flair, little salsa, the little Spanish dip, and then get his hips around wrap his foot around the ball and into that bottom corner, man. That was no tapping, like that was a very difficult finish.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, a good performance all around. I'm not in
I
the
think we have to
camp.
spend time. Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
continue.
No, I was gonna say I'm not in the camp that this game's over or this tie's over. But sorry, CG, you were gonna say
Yeah, before we talk about what's to come and like how we feel about the second leg after coming down from the highs and all that, I still do think we need to spend a little bit more time just talking about some more individual performances and just I think the players felt the atmosphere of the night. I was telling you offline, Mehrdad, that after this podcast, I'm going to go back and watch the game from minute 1 to 90, probably even some of the pre-match stuff, just because when we're at the pub enjoying it, you don't really get to take in the atmosphere. And I keep hearing how great the atmosphere was, and again, when we're watching it in the pub amongst our people, it's loud, it's whatever. So I can't really hear what's going on TV. I can't hear the commentary. I can't even hear the fans in the stadium and whatnot. And I'd be curious to when I watch that back to really soak up and feel the environment. And I can only imagine what it was like live and direct for the players themselves, for the manager, for everyone involved. Like the players and the manager called for it to be the best atmosphere we've ever seen at the Emirates, and apparently it delivered, and I have no doubt that it did. Just some of the things that we were seeing, the artificial image, like the tangible photo, the large photo they had in the crowd of Thierry Henry.
the tifo, yeah.
Yes, like that. We don't see that often at the Emirates. You'll see that in Germany with Borussia Dortmund and other big clubs around Europe do that in their atmospheric stadiums. We don't really do things like that, and I saw that, man, from the TV, and that shit hit me. It's like, wow, we're bringing it back to the days that our
We
GOAT did
literally
this to
said
Real
it.
Madrid.
We said it when we were
Yeah,
watching it. We're like, that's the Thierry goal against Madrid.
yeah.
That was a celebration.
Like we just, the 12th man, our fan base, the fans in the stadium, we did our thing, we played our part, and I do believe that had a massive influence on how the game turned out. So. And again, I'm just excited to watch some of the game back and again pay more attention to individual performances because I think late in the second half, Mehrdad, most of us after the second goal, my head had gone. Like I wasn't even paying attention to the subs anymore. I wasn't even paying attention to the rest of I was just turned up, bro. I was taking shots. I was doing all types, man. It was lit up in there, but yeah, man. So I just want to go back and watch some of the individual performances and kind of take in some of the details of the game. I do want to give a couple individual shout outs. I wrote this down because I felt it was very important to talk about. But first and foremost, two people I want to really big up. Urian Timber called it before the game and said he needs to stay at right back, no shifting around to left back, no center back. He needs to stay at right back because he is a lockdown defender. And if we want anyone to lock down a Vinny Jr., who's one of the best one-on-one forward attackers in the world, then you got to match that up with one of the best one-on-one defenders in the world in Urian Timber. This guy's one of the best in Europe. I don't give a shit, man. Like he came back from an ACL injury. Not many players can do that and get up to speed, much less step put back on the pitch wholeheartedly. In the position that he plays, a defensive position, a position that does tireless running up and down that fullback area. You're constantly twisting, you're constantly turning. And yeah, man, he's just had a great season, Urian Timber, and he's just come back so much stronger. And bro, the guy is just, I'm so happy we have him. And that's definitely one of Arteta's best signings. Like I said, I don't credit him much, man, but there's certain signings Urian Timber was a massive hit. The guy is just world class. I don't give a shit, man. He's world class. And the other one I really want to, big up before I guess we can talk about other individual players. Thomas Partey.
I was going to say it.
That performance, man, went under the radar. Performance
Yep.
went under the radar. We're talking about midfielders and who we need to sign in the summer. And because of some of the other areas that we need to invest in, like a left winger, like a striker, we're going to lose two midfielders in the summer. I'm almost convinced that we should let Jorginho go and we should offer Partey another contract if he's playing like
2 year,
this.
yep. Give him a 2 year
This
contract.
is
Keep
this
him.
is one of the best. This is don't get it twisted, bro. He's not been healthy relatively during his period at Arsenal, but a couple seasons ago when we first started pushing City, it was him and Casemiro. Casemiro. It was him and Rodri, the best number sixes in the league. Everyone was talking about, right? Until Partey got injured. But when this guy is fully fit and he's up and running and he's healthy, there's not many better than him. You know, the line breaking passes, the ability to collect the ball off the back four and play those balls through the lines to our attacking midfielders, to our wingers. Like, and again, my concern about somebody like a Zubamendi is that, you know, Zubamendi is good and he can do everything on the ball that Partey can do, but he doesn't have the same physicality, and that's what I'd be worrying about for him coming to the Premier League. But Partey's got it all when he's fit and firing. You know, we even see on the counterattack, some of the counterattacks that Real Madrid had to go on. You know, Partey was there just putting out fires. You know, he's just got everything in his locker when he's fit and he's healthy, man. And I really do think that we shouldn't just let this guy walk out the door. Like we should offer him a contract for real, for real. Like he's crucial.
You know who Zubamendi kind of reminds me of? Lucas Torreira.
Yeah,
Him?
yeah, someone like
Really,
that. Yeah,
really good. Really, really good. He scored that goal
yeah,
against Spurs to win
Spurs,
that
yeah,
game for us, but too small.
yeah.
He's an Italian league type player. He's not he
Mm,
the physicality of the Premier League when you're facing the Burnleys, when you're facing the Bournemouths, and they're gonna hit you. Like he couldn't handle it.
yeah.
So I mean, you're literally. I was gonna say those two players. That was the next thing I was gonna say. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Um, but the other thing, like I don't think the tie's over. I think we have one leg in the semis, but genuinely, the tie's not over. And any Arsenal fan who says the tie's over, they're deluded. Um, I think CJ, you were talking about it on Tuesday night. I think Madrid do score first in the home leg in the reverse fixture, but what we need to do is keep them from scoring within the first 5-10 minutes. Because if they score within the first 5-10 minutes or even faster, it's game on. Anything can happen. I think was it 2 years ago when Rodrigo scored those two goals in like stoppage time to take it to extra time and then they won? Is it 2 years
They've
ago?
done that many a times. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly which game we're talking about. I don't remember the opposition, but they've even done it to Chelsea in recent times,
Yeah.
where Chelsea thought they had the game done and dusted at the Bernabeu, and then they come in last minute, Real Madrid, and they just get a couple quick fire goals. And so if anyone's capable of doing it, it's Real
It's
Madrid.
done.
And I think we need to manage this next game in blocks. You know, like you said, first 10, 15 minutes, calm down the crowd, keep it at 0-0. Do not allow them to score in that first 10 to 15-minute period.
Yep.
Get into the game, settle down, keep it at 0-0. Okay, then you manage that first 15. Now you're gonna have to manage the second 15 minutes, will then be the first 30 minutes of the half, and then you're gonna manage that last quarter up until halftime.
Yep.
We're gonna have to manage the game in blocks, and we're gonna have to take it slowly but surely. And I've no doubt that Arteta is gonna set us up in a way to make sure we manage the game. Because one thing we're really good at, obviously, is game management. Generally, we're pretty good at managing games that way. We just need to make sure we go there. We do not let the crowd
Crowd.
and the atmosphere and
Yep.
the environment get the better of us. You know.
Yep. And I'm looking at someone who may not be playing in that game, who's won a Champions League with Chelsea, who's won the Euros, a Jorginho, to be that calm head off the bench. Because you see him a lot of the times that when he's on the bench, he's not really sitting on the bench. He's always on the sideline
Mm-hmm.
warming up and he's giving instructions. And I'm looking at
Mm-hmm.
someone like that. I'm also looking at someone like a Thomas Partey who has faced Madrid with Atleti and he knows what the Bernabeu is like. Again, this is a new Bernabeu, this is a new team, but he's been there, done that. Like these are the players that I'm looking at to step up and to say, okay, let's take the moment, everyone relax, and you know, let's calm everything down because I think those 15 minutes are going to be pivotal if we're going to have a chance at winning. Like if Madrid don't score in the first half, I would be confident in saying that we're going to go through. But if they score in the first half, I'm not confident at all because Madrid just have this it factor about them that to what Laurent was saying that Arsenal don't have yet. Arsenal don't have because we've never won 15 Champions League titles. Neither has Chelsea, right? Neither have Man City. But in the Premier League era, the last 5-6 years, City is inevitable. You're 10 points ahead. They're inevitable. They're coming. And Real Madrid, they are inevitable. If there's one team that can do it, it is this Madrid team. The only saving grace, their back four is shit. That's the only saving grace. That if we manage a game like you're saying, CJ, and we go into blocks and maybe we have a 15-minute block that we're on the front foot. We get a corner, we get a set piece, maybe capitalize from there. But other than that, man, like I'm gonna be sweating the entire time because this Real Madrid team has shown over the years that they can do it. I don't know, Laurent, do you see this any differently than CJ and I, or like because you have no skin in the game aside from giving me shit?
I mean, from my honest perspective, I think at this point the tie is pretty much over. Um,
No, you can't say that, man.
and I mean, yeah, it's my fair, honest assessment. Arsenal's a top club. They have the caliber. I mean, I'm being. I mean, let's be real. Let's look at the facts, right?
You
This is
spent 40 minutes giving me shit to say that Arsenal isn't a top club, and now you're saying Arsenal's a top club.
I mean, by all means, right? That's what arguments is for, right? To be able to persuade someone to right
Yeah.
uh
Oh my God.
reassess their point of views, right? So I consider myself a rational, sensible individual. So, you presented your facts, and no, like I mean, I'm seeing it, right? Managed under a great manager, Arteta, right? The resources were scarce under your new owners, so he had to, set up the team with what he had to at his disposal. And man, did he do a wonderful job, right? Pushed Man City almost to the edge that one season. So this is the same team that we're talking about that's going to face Real Madrid back at the Bernabéu next week. And in my opinion, um, their defense stellar. So I think at this point it's just about game management. If I'm being completely honest.
You're
Now,
the same guy that said,
mhm.
sorry, you're the same guy that said Real Madrid was going to win 2-0 at the Emirates. And now you're confidently saying that, this tie is over. That's pretty bold from somebody who plays the game, yourself, and you've been
Mhm,
around football a long time. Isn't it
mhm.
pretty bold? Isn't it too crazy of a take to say that the tie is over at this time?
No, no. I mean, I think the key word is circumstance, right? As we like to use, right? There's always a circumstance. So when I look at the circumstance, right? 3-0. That's 3-0. In order for Real Madrid to pass and go three, they'd have to score four. All right. Now, you guys tell me what do you think the probability of that is happening, right?
I would
Let alone.
disagree. I think if they just score three and they get it to penalties, anything can happen. So they don't
Okay,
necessarily
sure,
need four.
fair. Yeah, that is fair. That's a fair assessment. Three does right. Take it to PKs, but again with PKs, right? It's a toss up almost, right? In essence, it's not a guarantee. And mind you, their performance against Atleti in PKs not too convincing. Yeah, but to answer the initial question, I think at this point, in terms of even like the players that you guys have, um, and like Mehrdad mentioned, right? You guys do have players. Shout out to Jorginho, right? Who do have the experience winning these titles, right? So you guys do have the experience with your players to be able to manage this game out. So in my opinion, right, it's just a matter of not fucking up at this point, like
Mm-hmm.
truly. Now,
Oh,
if
for
you guys,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, so if you guys are saying, you don't see or you're a bit hesitant in calling it now, um, I do feel like you guys are probably erring on the side of caution a bit more.
Yeah, because
And
look at what happened last year in the Premier League. Look at what happened 2 years ago in the Premier League. Look at what happened 3 years ago when all we had to do is get a draw against Spurs to be in the Champions League. We've been in these positions, and what have we done? We fucking bottled it. The track record speaks for itself.
Well,
Like,
that's where I was going to go with this too. It's not a surprise if Real Madrid comes back and scores three because we score three at home, and we don't have an elite front three. They have the best front three in the world, arguably. So why can't they score three on their home ground?
Because
That's the first thing.
you guys have the defense.
That's what I was gonna say. The only difference between us scoring three and them scoring three is we had two goals that were out of this world,
Yeah,
and
highly on like those goals like improbable.
it's not gonna happen all the time. If it
Things
was
like
a
that
Lionel
don't repeat.
Messi,
Yeah.
like if it was a Messi, I would or Cristiano Ronaldo, I would say yes, it can happen. But like,
Even with those guys, I mean, like the stats in terms of like
No, yeah, for sure.
their conversion, like
What he
these
did
guys.
was unheard of, man. Yeah,
Huh?
for
No, no,
sure.
no. What I'm saying, even like if you look at like, because it's very easy because you don't realize, these guys take a lot of free kicks, right?
yeah,
It's just the ones that it's almost like a survivorship bias, right? Where you only see what is actually successful at the end of the day, right? And you kind of
Hmm.
allude to the fact that okay, they must be scoring all the time, but it's not the case, right? Free kick conversion, like I forgot what the stats was, right? But it's a low number, right? You
very
see what I'm
low,
saying?
very
Yeah,
low.
yeah. So yeah, no. So I mean, like I said, man, Declan Rice, he really like if you guys have to thank him if you guys
That
like
second free kick was crucial. Like that
Yeah,
was the turning point potentially.
right.
David Moyes, I know you're probably not listening, but if somehow this gets out to you, we owe you 50 million. We owe you an extra 50 mil because that boy, man. So, Laurent, are you gonna come watch it with CJ and I on Wednesday?
Honestly, at this point, like I said, I think I already told you this. For me, the game's wrapped. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the finals. At that point, I'll be there in the finals. I'll make my reservations.
Wow,
And then
backtracking, eh? Thought you
no,
were a man
just
of your word. You're not gonna pull up next week.
no, because I mean, like when I think about it, right? Like I said, plus the result of the first game to me, it's too decisive. Like, what am I gonna go there to watch? You know what I mean? It's just
That's crazy for you to say that. You're not normally like that. You're normally more, level
Did I
headed than
did
that.
I
I
did,
you
did I hit a
you know the
nerve?
game. How are
huh,
you saying that the tie is over? You know the game better than that, bro.
bro.
Come on.
The game is wrapped. Like, come on, man. Like you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like what?
No,
There
I
are two
don't.
players that they're so even Vinny. Okay, you mentioned keep Timber there on his side. Timber played a very good game against him.
Hmm.
Um, for one, I don't even know if Vinny has the mentality to show up in this kind of game. You see what I'm saying? No,
Wow.
no, no, no.
Bold.
No, because like he's yes, he can
Talking about a
perform.
two-time Champions League winner.
Yeah, but again, there's right. I do feel like sometimes he allows things to get to his head.
Oh,
Um,
okay. From that aspect, yeah,
um,
100%. But
yeah, no, but and again, like that's why I'm saying, like, bro, the guy could even get sent off second leg for just from being frustrated. You know what I mean? Like from just like,
And we can get sent off. Say we get sent off in the
yeah,
first 5-10 minutes. They score
okay,
1-0. They have 80 minutes to score two more goals. You don't think they can do that?
right, no, no, no. I mean, so now, okay, now,
Anything can happen, bro.
yeah. You're right. I'm not saying like anything can happen, but um, I mean, I'm assuming the predictions are made with a game ending with 11 on v11, right? Under normal circumstances. Because now, if we want to dive into the specifics, now we have to recalculate, like our outlook, right? Um, but honestly, bro, just from what I'm seeing from Real Madrid, and again, their past performances, Valencia, um, the teams they or the games they've played before
Sociodad,
that, yeah,
they haven't
it,
been
yeah,
convincing.
it's
And
not. Yeah, exactly.
no,
So it's like
you're
if you
right.
and you're saying
Like
track record, right? Like so, I'm using that right to kind of gauge right how they could perform within the next game. And in my opinion, I just think that you guys are gonna just edge them out.
my only argument or rebuttal, which is because we've been in these positions in the league and we bottled it. And I know it's completely different because of the tournament. This is a cup tie. This is a different team. They've been there. They know what they have to do. But still, that's still that fear is still there. Um, but again, we'll see. We'll do the full breakdown. Um, we'll do the full breakdown Monday, for you guys. We'll spend a lot more time on that game because there is a lot of talking points. Maybe CJ, we can come up with like a lineup that both you and I think. I would tell you to do it, Laurent, but I just don't think you know the team well enough. That gives you a disadvantage. Um, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Um, yeah. Um, Looking at the other Champions League games, kind of breeze through one of them really quickly. Barca, it's game over. 4-0. It's game over. Do you guys see it any other way?
Nope.
Yeah, that tie is definitely game over.
Okay,
That
so
one I can say
let's
for sure.
yeah, so shout
There,
out to
can we?
oh
Sorry,
sorry.
spend a minute just mentioning, talking about some of the best front threes in the world. That Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Rafinha front three at the moment is looking pretty scary, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they're cohesive. A lot of things that people were saying about Real Madrid's front three is like, we're calling them the best, one of the best front threes in the world, if not the best, based on individual talent. But there's not a lot of chemistry from what I can see there. The chemistry at the Barca's front three you can see is completely different.
Because you have
Completely
a
different.
number nine that holds it up for them, and you got two wingers that make those diagonal runs. Whereas Vinny and Mbappe both want to come from the left, and then you leave the whole right side open. They try to overload on the left side because they're right foot dominant, but they don't have a number nine to hold the ball up. But yeah, I would say.
Yeah, and
Oh, sorry, what?
yeah, no, I agree actually. And then, even Rodrigo, which is going to be an interesting. That's going to be one to watch this summer. Like
Going to
I don't see him being
Chelsea.
very. Yeah, right. I don't see him being very cohesive with the rest of the
Mhm.
front three either. They all just kind of work in individual blocks. And again, like obviously they have their odd time where they link up well and stuff, but you don't just see it's not as fluent as
Mhm.
like Barca's, for example, or even like a PSG's.
PSG. Speaking of PSG, Villa, man. I don't know if you guys watched that game. Villa are so naive against PSG. They scored first. Desiree Doué, he was bought from Rennes for 50 million, huge bargain. That goal that he scored an absolute howler. But what I'm trying to understand is when PSG went up 2-1, why is Villa still trying to attack? A 2-1 score at the Parc des Princes going back to Villa Park is an amazing score line for Villa. And then you try to go to tie the game. You bring on Ollie Watkins. Like I understand Rashford was getting a little bit leggy, but put John McGinn up top and put another midfielder in there. Put Amadou Onana in there. Bolster up the midfield a little bit because Vitinha, Neves, and when they brought in Zaire Emery, they were running that midfield. Um, like to me, I think this tie is over. I don't think I don't think PSG changed the way that they play because we saw how they played against Liverpool. And if they were able to do what they did to Liverpool at Anfield, arguably the best crowd, best stadium in the Premier League, I don't think Villa Park stand a chance. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I think Villa they're done. I think they'll score, but I don't think they stop PSG from scoring, and I think PSG advance.
I mean, haven't watched that game. So where Villa stands a chance, and I did mention this in the group, right? Is their lack of experience at
Yeah,
that
you did. Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
where you can tell they're being pressed or soaking in pressure. They're they're getting the ball, right? They're in their own half or like in their 18, and it's whether it's anxiety, whatever it is, but they're not able to keep the tempo. You guys see that when
Yep.
a team gets the ball and suddenly now, right? Like no, some guy tries to make a pass or whatever, but the ball now is suddenly given. It's not even taken. It's given back to the opponent, and then the pressure comes again, right? That goal, if I remember correctly, right, is from an instance like that where like they get the ball and then they work it out from the back, right? But it's composed, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
controlling
Oh,
the
Morgan
tempo.
Rogers goal, you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're controlling the tempo. You're allowing your players to move up the pitch, right? So for me, if Villa is able to sort that out, right? because PSG is right going to go in again. You're going to have the wingers going to look to be direct, right? It's going to be a wave of attack, right? But now Villa has to be able to play out of that,
Hmm.
right? If to be able to now like shift the control once they win the ball, right? But if they're going to play that second game just simply giving the ball back to the opposition, at that point I really can't see them producing anything, right? Because they had their
Yeah.
chances, mind you, right? That
Rogers had,
game,
I think,
yeah,
two clear-cut chances, and I think Rashford had a chance that he
right,
hashed at, right?
right,
Like they could have scored.
right,
But man,
right,
like
right.
PSG looks scary.
I was just gonna say that, man. I actually would be if we get through this quarterfinal and negotiate the second leg. I would be pretty fearful of PSG, man. They look different now. Like they're just,
They're
I
so
know
direct. You know what they
Laurent.
remind
I
me
don't
of?
know.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, you go. You go.
I was gonna say they remind me of prime Mane, Firmino, Salah. Like
Mm,
the first couple years when they were together, how direct they were. As soon as they got the ball, you're like, oh fuck. Fabinho sitting in, and then you got Jordan Henderson and Thiago when he wasn't injured. They were so direct.
yeah,
So
man.
direct, man. You had the legs in Jordan Henderson. Fabinho was the sitter and the pit bull getting everything. And then Thiago would just pick you apart. And then you had Mane, Firmino, and Salah just causing havoc. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, no, you're good. You're good. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, like Laurent, I'm curious to know because I feel like most of us have like a different outlook on PSG now. Like I feel like a lot of us around Europe are starting to give PSG like their respect because they're really like playing some good stuff and they're balling out, And I think I was actually the only one between the three of us who's not surprised by PSG winning. Like I predicted them to win. Um, I still think that they will have too much for Villa ultimately at the end of the day. But yeah, like Laurent, I'm curious on your take on PSG now because you don't traditionally give the French teams and whatnot the respect. So I don't know if you have a different outlook on them now. If you think that they're dangerous, if they're a team to look out for, can they go all the way? Can they get past an Arsenal or Real Madrid in the next round? Like, what are your thoughts on PSG?
So I do think yeah, I would have to redact my first assessment of them. At this point, no, clearly, right? Despite the domestic league they play in, they're a very good team. Uh, Mind you, at this point, I do believe that the team is as such, given the manager, more so than just the players. Um, whereas Luis Enrique, I believe, right,
Hmm.
Yeah,
is current manager. I do believe that his philosophy, even in terms of managing the club, was one where he was willing to get rid of any players that wasn't willing to adapt to the way he wanted them to play, right? No egos, none of that, right? And man, you watch. To me, the most impressive part about the team is not even the offense. To me, it was the defensive work rate. The players were like sharks. Like the moment possession was lost, they were
Yeah.
like I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yep.
Um, and this to me is the type of work rate you see that allows teams to win titles, like Man City back when they were feared. It's that work rate. Like
The
they're
pressing work
yeah,
rate
the
and
the
not letting you
pressing.
get out. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, you're right.
So no, so this is and they press well. They press very well to the point where it's like the players are running out of options, right? Like the opposite team. Even we saw that with Liverpool, right? And they just know how to press the positioning with the press, when to come off it, right? As not to leave gaps in behind. And yeah, that to me is the dangerous part about them, right? Because once they get that ball back, now you have, you know, Due, Dembele, right? Even the guy from Napoli, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Cavaskelia.
Yeah, yeah, that guy, very tricky player.
And then you're bringing
Um,
Barcola off the bench, which
right,
like he's the top scorer for their team.
right,
So it's
yeah.
and just a shout out to them. They're actually going for an invincible season. They already secured the Liga title, but they're going for the invincible because they've never done it in the French league. So um, just that last point for PSG. But last game for the quarterfinals, Inter, man, that was it. I watched the highlights again. That was a crazy game. They scored late to win 2-1 against Bayern, heading back to San Siro. Just a fun fact for you guys, because I like just throwing those random facts up there. Fertesi's goal was scored at the same minute, same stadium, same celebration as Pandev's goal. I don't know if you guys remember Pandev, like who played for Inter in 2011, round of
Yeah.
16. Pandev scored in the 88th minute at Munich, and same exact celebration, taking his jersey off, running, and Fertesi did the same exact thing. So it was kind of a little fitting when I saw that stat pop up. I was like, "Damn, what the hell? There's no way." When I googled it, it was actually true. But piss poor from Bayern. Like, how do you? I get the injuries that they have. They lost Neuer, Davies. They lost Musiala late, but the quality that they have off the bench and the players that they have, like, I don't know. And going back to the San Siro is a tall order. I know it's still only 2-1, but Inter they barely give up any goals. Um, what's your guys' take? Do you think the tie? Do you think it obviously advantage Inter, but do you think Inter can wrap it up, or do you think Company and Bayern are gonna have something to say about it?
Laurent, you want to take it first?
Just
Yeah, no, I
Laurent,
mean,
just one thing. In the league phase of Champions League, Inter only gave up one goal.
mm,
Just putting that out there.
right. Um, no, I mean, man, that I think again, another highlight of a good manager. Um, I do feel like also he's coming into his own, especially after that defeat in the final versus City. You can tell that there's a lot of experience, even in terms of how they after they conceded that goal, Thomas Muller. Um, hats up to him, man. Player at that age, people are thinking he's pretty much over. Scores what would have been considered a big goal for
Mhm.
Bayern had they kept the scoreline as such. Um, but man, the few plays after that, the way I don't know. To me, I think Inter, like we're talking about Barca's front three fluidity, but I honestly start to feel like Inter might be the best team fluidity wise as a whole, as a collective. Um, yeah, there's just something about how he's utilizing the players, getting the best out of his wing backs, right? Um, so now, to me, I think Inter has it. Um, although, right, this is one of those games where you can't really say that it's settled. But if Inter shows up, I think what we're going to see too is also the lack of experience from company side, right?
Mm.
I'm pretty sure this is his first time there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and things like that do show, right? So yeah, I think for me, I favor Inter in that.
Yeah, I second that. I think whilst they got the perfect result because when I actually look back at the game, Bayern did have their fair share of chances. They actually could have got a couple more goals than what they did do. So I think they shot themselves in the foot a little bit. And this has been kind of a pattern, what we've been noticing from Bayern throughout the course of the campaign, actually, the Champions League campaign, is, they were lucky to scrape by Celtic in the last round. So they don't look like the same, Bayern of old, and it shouldn't really be any surprise that Inter has done a job on them so far. But that's the worst kind of result for Bayern, to lose at home, because now we know exactly what Inter's going to do in the second leg. They're going to be horrible to play against, and they got a good manager, they've got a good structure, they're well organized, and they're another team that if I'm Arsenal, I'd be fearful of if we got to a final against them, or if we were even playing on the other side on that bracket and we played against
Mhm.
them. It's funny enough, so many people have said playing against Real Madrid would suit Arsenal, in terms of how much space a team like Real Madrid will leave in behind for us because the goals. Funny enough, ironically, we scored goals off of set pieces. The first couple goals were free kicks, but prior to that, backtracking a little bit, prior to that, in the first half, we got so many opportunities from Saka, particularly on the right side, who just cut open their fullback and were able to get some good balls into the box. And if we had a proper number 9, who could get in those positions to score, we probably would have scored in the first half as well. Whereas I don't see Inter being, able to afford that kind of space to us, and we struggle to break down low blocks. So, bringing it back full circle, I would be kind of, concerned going up against a solid defensive structure like an Inter, because I mean, we played them already this year in the Champions League, and we saw how well they set up against us. So those low block type of teams, it would be Arsenal's kind of Achilles heel, and Inter is definitely one to look out for. Like Laurent said, the manager and that team have learned a thing or two from their last final defeat to Man City, and you can tell their experiences now. They're hungry. They look like they have a different mentality about them. They're going about their business very professionally. So no one should be sleeping on them at this point.
I mean, you guys said everything I was thinking. I think, yeah, Inter forced to be reckoned with. Just quickly looking at the other Premier League teams and other European competitions. Starting with Europa, Spurs being Spursy, at home. They drew with Frankfurt 1-1. Pedro Porro's, I don't know if you guys have seen Pedro Porro's finish. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go watch it. Give him a shout out. That was an unreal finish by Pedro Porro. And Ekatike, where we are linked to him as a number 9. He hit a little cheeky Henry celebration after scoring his goal. And I was very impressed. I was like, is he, bidding for Andrea Berta to sign him over Gyökeres or Sesko? But yeah, Spurs 1-1 heading back to Germany. I honestly I don't give him a chance at all. Not just because they're Spurs, but I just don't give him a chance at all. 1-1. I think Frankfurt are going to be too much. United. We were chatting about this in the group chat. So before the United game, for those of you who didn't know, Andre Onana, the keeper for Manchester United, came out and said that they're going to go to Lyon. They're going to beat them because they're miles better than them. And Nemanja Matic, ex Chelsea, he's won pretty much everything with Chelsea, and ex Manchester United player. He didn't win anything with Manchester United. He came out and said it's kind of bold for Andre Onana to say something like that, as he's the worst goalkeeper in Manchester United history. Onana clapped back, saying, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. And he said, some of us had the privilege of lifting trophies with the biggest club in the world. A la he lifted Carabao Cup with Manchester United. I'll pose this to you guys in the group chat. Do you think that Onana is the worst Manchester United goalkeeper in history? Some of the big names: Van der Sar, Peter Schmeichel, David De Gea, Tim Howard, Fabian Barthez. But
CJ, you wanna go first or?
Like in terms of starting keepers, like that's obviously what we're measuring. We're not comparing their second keepers of the past or like third string keepers. I guess as starting keepers, as far as starting keepers go, like he doesn't rank anywhere near obviously some of those goalkeepers aforementioned. Mind you, obviously some of those keepers that we've just mentioned are some of the best of all time in the Premier League, like David De Gea and Peter Schmeichel. These are top goalkeepers. So the standard is always going to be high, obviously, when you're at a club like Man United. But yeah, Onana is not it. Like, I remember some United fans being so gassed when he first signed and comparing him to, our keepers and David Raya and Ramsdale. He wouldn't even start in our U21 team. Never mind our first team. Like, nah, I don't rate that guy. He did his thing when he was at like Inter, and he had a couple good stints in. Before he came to United, but yeah. Man, I don't know. And the thing is with him, he's a little bit too cocky for his own good. I don't know where that arrogance comes from. He thinks he's like, he's got Allison or Edison level of confidence, but ability, in like
With
a
Dean Henderson.
yeah, and shit, that might even be disrespectful to Dean Henderson. So yeah, I don't know, man. He's definitely one of the worst in recent times. That's for damn sure. They should look to replace him amongst many other players very soon. But yeah,
Laurent?
No, it's a fair assessment. In terms of worst in history, I mean that's a completely different question, right? For one, you'd have to look at the stats for that, right, to be able to even gauge that, right? Whether we're talking about like first string keepers, but in terms of recent history, you could say he's more prone to errors than the other keepers. Now I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when he was signed, it wasn't more so for just shot stopping, but also his ability
yeah,
to be able to
yeah,
distribute the ball and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a certain play.
which hasn't been great. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the funny part, right? But I mean, it's funny because where he was at before, right? That worked for that team. It was an Italian club, I believe, right?
Inter.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, no, like he played very well there, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
obviously would explain the move. But other than that, man, like the statement he made in regards to trophies, winning trophies, right? I do agree with that. I do think it's an important part of of bragging rights, right? You do got to win something. So yeah, just a side note. So yeah,
Well, his two errors cost United, so they're going back to Old Trafford, tied 2-2. It's gonna be an interesting game to tune into. So my if I'm watching any of those games, I got the chance to watch the Chelsea game and the United game. I didn't really tune in for the Spurs game, but I'm definitely gonna be tuning in to see how United plays at Old Trafford. Um, just quickly before we move on to the weekend games, Chelsea just wiped the floor with Liga. The first half was, I don't know, Laurent, I don't know if you would agree with this assessment, because I watched the entire game. First half, Chelsea looked a little bit flat. They weren't able to get Palmer on the ball. And I thought Sancho could have done more off the wing. Um, Gusto was playing unreal, overlapping constantly with Tyreek. Was it Tyreek George? If I'm not
yep.
mistaken. Malagusto was playing unreal, just constantly overlapping and kind of creating those overloads on that left side. But Jadon Sancho disappointing. Um, Palmer wasn't getting on the ball enough. I don't know why they weren't trying to get him into the game. You saw a couple times he was coming, to the half to pick up the ball from the center backs. There was no distribution there. Dewsbury Hall was playing well. He had a couple chances in the first half. Um, but once you brought on Madueke and Reece James, like it was game over. Like the directness of Madueke changed the game in my opinion. He opened up all the space, and um, I just feel bad for Nkunku. I feel like he needed that. He really needed that penalty for his confidence. Because you saw it on his face, man. As soon as he turned around, you saw it on his face. The man has zero confidence. But I don't know. Am I wrong in my assessment of your team, Laurent?
I mean, in regards to the Nkunku situation, there's nothing to feel bad about. Um, like I said, right, with Chelsea, uh, standards as such as you don't perform. You know what I mean? Like, there, we don't feel bad. You're professional at the end of the day. You have a job to do. And in case of Nkuku's, right, your place up top, your job is to score goals. Um, so you were given the penalty, mind you, right? Nerves aside, everything else that's going on with your life, you were expected to score. Especially also given the nature of the game, the opposition, right? You were definitely expected to score there. So the only thing he can do now is just move on from it, right? It happened. It is what it is. You go back to the training ground, and you get ready for the next game. Now, in regards to the team's performance as a whole, you did hit the mark there with Sancho. I do believe Sancho um, had a poor game, at least in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mind you, and this is why I don't. Well, I can understand why it's done when you put a right-footed winger on the right side. Okay, and that winger isn't comfortable with his opposite foot. What it
Yeah.
actually does is when we've seen this with Sancho, it limits his ability.
Creativity.
One, yeah, his creativity, his ability to attack a defender,
Yeah.
to get himself out of situations. Because you can tell, like, there was no left foot with him, right? He would try to, now he's making passes with the outside of the foot.
Yeah.
And
Or he's
yeah, there's,
passing back and trying to make
yeah,
space for himself. Yeah.
exactly, right. Whereas someone on the right, if you're a left winger and you're on that side, maybe you're looking to cut in, right? So you add more variables to your game. So I think there were issues with the first half, but Maresca did a good job in his substitutions, right? Which obviously we saw was a result of 2 goals from Madueke. And yeah, like you said, right, direct play, looking to
Yeah.
beat the man. Yeah, but the only thing I would say with him is he's becoming too predictable, in my
Sorry, you're
opinion.
saying Madueke is coming too
Yeah,
predictable?
yes. Even in terms of how he beats, he's looking to beat his man, right? Where funny enough, where it's like I would like to see him do what an Iron Robin would do, back in those days, where Iron Robin is looking to cut in. Funny, you knew what Iron Robin was going to do,
You just couldn't
but
stop it.
you couldn't stop it, right? So I would love for him to add that kind of element to his game, right? You have a left foot, you're on that side, right? Why not try to do that, right? I mean, you hit those curlers in the training ground, like all day, every day. So it's one of those things where if you don't attempt to even do that, right, during the game, like then it's like, what's the point, right?
But I think Iron Robin had a Peter Lamb overlapping to create that space for him.
Mm,
Um, whereas Chelsea don't really have.
Who?
Peter Lamb.
Oh, Philip. You guys talking about Philip
Oh,
Sorry,
Lamb?
sorry,
Philip.
Philip. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry, sorry,
sorry,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah. Just
sorry,
again, yeah, his
sorry,
name is
sorry, sorry.
Philip Lamb.
Philip
Yeah, yeah.
Lamb.
He was the
Um,
captain, right, of
Okay.
Bayern, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he had Philip Lamb overlapping during that time, and I don't think Chelsea have figured out the right back situation. Um,
Mm,
but I do agree with you, and I think a couple weeks back when we were talking about Chelsea, I think I said like I think Madueke is a huge piece in that front three just because of his direct play. He's always looking forward. He's not looking to pass the ball back or even lateral. He's looking to attack. Do I think that he has a lot of space for improvement? Yeah, he does, but like he's just direct. Like that's a part of his game that you either have it or you don't, right? Like Martinelli is direct. Does he need to get his head up? Yes, right? But at least he's direct. But yeah, that ties over. Going back to the bridge, that ties over. Like done, game set match. Move on to the next round. Um, yeah, I don't know.
That
Laurent,
tie was over before it even started, bro. Laurent, do you even know who you guys played now? What's the name of the team?
Listen, like I said,
This guy still doesn't know
that
the name of the team.
what does that matter to me? You know what I mean? Our It's like we have one job. It's to win, right? To go in there, win the game. Maybe if we lose, then I might, out of respect for that team, search up their name. All right, okay, these were the guys we lost to, right? But until, right, we get to where we need to be, right? Which is the finals, and then hopefully, right, we can get past. I'm assuming Real Betis is going to be the opposition we face then. Um, yeah, we can get past that and hopefully win something this year. Yeah.
um, coming to the weekend game quickly. Predictions leaderboard. CJ is leading with two correct scores. I have one, and Laurent has none. Um, Facing Brentford at home. Um, we talked about it before we started recording. Whether Arteta goes with a full squad, or a rotated squad, or does he try to get minutes into Saka or Ben White? I think CJ, you said it. Saka played a lot of minutes in that Real Madrid game as his first start. He did come off with a knock. Ben White didn't see the field, so I would anticipate he's going to get a start. But what do you think? Do you think we're going to go heavily rotated, or do you think we're going to, try to continue to win games?
Oh man, this is so tough because like knowing Arteta, he's gonna want that continuity, momentum. So he's gonna just treat this like maybe another one of those games where, well, you gotta respect the opposition, you gotta go out and win, regardless of what's at stake now and what's not. You know, winning breeds winning and momentum and all that. So I think he still might play a strong team, which concerns me. Well, I say that like no, he should play a relatively strong team. A club like Arsenal, a big club, a top club who wants to fight on all honors, you should still be able to put in your guys off the bench, and it should still be a strong team. That's just what good squad building is at the elite level. But there is certain players that I do not want seeing this game, aka your Thomas Partey's probably, your Timbers most definitely. You know, I'd probably in that back four, I'd probably play, you know, the likes of I would still play Kivior because he hasn't gotten a lot of football and he's on a good run of form. So continue to play him still. You know, build up his confidence some more. So I play Kivior. I play like a Tierney or a Zinchenko. You know, you got to try and rest Saliba, especially now that what's his name, Gabriel's out for the season, bro. Saliba needs to be wrapped in cotton wool after every game, you know, because if we lose him now too, I shouldn't even be saying shit like that. No one knowing our luck, but yeah, man, we need Saliba, so I'm almost tempted to rest him. But Ben White comes in for this game for me from the start, give him some minutes. Jorginho comes in midfield. We should probably even rest Declan Rice. He came off last game too. He probably had like a touch of cramp or something. I don't think it was too serious.
Yeah.
So again, he probably needs a break as well. But we saw in the first leg against Real Madrid just how key that midfield battle was and how our midfield dominated. Funny enough, we didn't talk too much about Odegaard. We can spend some more time talking about him in our breakdown on Sunday, but or Monday for the viewers. But yeah, the midfield is going to be key for us. So again, you're almost tempted to rest Declan Rice and Real Madrid and Thomas Partey because you know how crucial they're going to be at the Bernabéu. Yeah, you know, in the front three, you probably got to give Trossard a start. Maybe Saka comes off the bench because again, he played heavy minutes, so you don't start him. But you know, bring him off the bench because he does also need some continuity as well, and he needs to get more touches and build up his fitness and his, you know, just some in-game minutes as well. So yeah, I say all that, but you know, the team is going to be a lot stronger than what we probably think it's going to be or would expect it to be. Because like I said, we know how Arteta is. It's just a tough one for me at this point, man. It's just about getting through the rest of these Premier League games. And look, the further we go along in this Champions League competition, which looks like it could be the case, hopefully, knock on wood. If we find ourselves in a semifinal, then it becomes even more tempting to rest players for the rest of these Premier League games. And it just seems like there's still so many Premier League games left that they're just all awkwardly placed banana skin games in between these Champions League ties. And kind of do what Chelsea did, you know, when they were going for their Champions Leagues back when they won it. You know, when they were out of sight in the league, they weren't even top four. They weren't even near a title. And look, they still came out and won a Champions League in that year, or I believe both the times that they won it. You know, where
they rested.
Nothing to play for really.
Heavily rotated. Like that 2019, he heavily rotated that year.
In the Premier League, yeah, because you know it's a Champions League all or nothing sort of thing. So we you know we have a pretty strong, healthy position in terms of getting top four at this point for us. So obviously we need to do just enough to stay in the top four and be comfortable and be watching over our shoulder for the chasing pack. But yeah, man, obviously the priority is without a doubt Champions League at this point. So you got to really be careful negotiating these Premier League games and just make sure nobody gets injured for fuck's sakes.
The only saving grace is that this is a Saturday and we play on a Wednesday. Like looking at this game because it is Brentford, I think it's going to be the back four is going to be White, Saliba, Kivior, Tierney, and I think the midfield's going to be Jorginho, Zinchenko, probably Mikel Merino. And then up top's going to be Trossard, Wanyeri, and Sterling, something like that. And then Saka's going to come off.
So you do think he'll rest? He'll rotate that much? That midfield that you just mentioned is awful.
I know.
And I don't think he'll play that bad of a midfield, to be honest.
I don't. The only person that I could see changing is maybe he doesn't play Sterling. He plays Merino up top and he plays Rice in that left 8. But I don't think Odegaard plays. But given that, what do we got for predictions for the weekend? Laurent, I'll give you the first go. What do you think? Well, what do you predict? Arsenal Brentford at the Emirates, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Factoring in a weaker lineup.
I listen, just to help you because I know obviously you don't follow Arsenal as much. Yes, I personally I would say factor in a weaker lineup.
Hmm. I mean, Brentford.
They're
Yeah,
no
they can.
they're no pushover. Like you guys are facing
No.
Ipswich. So that's a lock win for you guys. Um, but
Honestly, man, I'd go 1-1.
yeah, CJ,
Uh, um, Brentford, eh? What's their form guide looking like? I feel like they've been doing all right, Brentford. They score goals, so that's one thing we gotta be careful of.
they
They
drew
got
Chelsea last.
at the bridge, right?
No,
Or was that away?
that was home. So
That was the
last five
Brentford was home.
games, two draws, two losses, one win. Last five games.
Oh, that's actually pretty poor form. Um, hmm.
Let me make it easier for you. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, I was thinking that still. I'm not gonna lie. Somehow, yeah, yeah. I think we'll edge it out 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Huh. I've said a lot. This pot, so I'm gonna leave the final words with you two.
All right, I'll
Yo,
let.
people. Yeah, yeah. I'll just say something real quick. I know, like I'm gonna always say, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, everyone. You know, we're here. We bring fiery energy. You know, we just speak from the hip and say what's on our minds always, and that's what we like to bring to you guys. You know, just the natural authenticity of what we do. You know, none of this shit is scripted. None of this shit is written off a textbook or written on a chalkboard that we read off of. You know, we just speak our minds, and that's what's best about these type of podcasts and what we do. You know, speak our minds and give you that information as well as the entertainment at the same time. You know, give you our footballing knowledge and our insight. And we do this as fans. Do this on behalf of the collective group who watches and fans around the world who just want to hear guys shoot the shit about football and just talk football. It's like therapy. It's exciting. It's fun for all of us. And yeah, man, continue to support and follow. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're here. Our season is still going strong as Arsenal fans or Arsenal fans elect in Laurent's case. We're still trying to convert him, but we're working on that. But yeah, like keep following us because our season is still alive via the Champions League. So it's like, we need all the support that we can get. We gotta, you know, help get our boys over the line one way or another and keep us going. But definitely excited for the second leg of this Real Madrid tie and what's to come. So yeah, man, thanks for being with us and here's to more content.
Cheers, cheers. Yeah, no, just to relay on that. Again, you're probably gonna get tired of hearing it, but like and subscribe. We can't do this without you guys. So yeah, no, but other than that, excited as well for what Arsenal has to conjure in the Champions League. I'm looking forward, like I said, to being in that pub on the final day. Uh, right? Sipping maybe a Ray nephew, right? As my counterpart there, Mehrdad likes to drink. And yeah, so I think we'll even have a watch along with the fans, right? That's what I'm hoping for. I'll make sure to bring my Chelsea kit on that day as well. Hopefully, a bit of that winning aura from a top club can rub off on that. Now when I go back to the bridge, maybe this summer, I can sprinkle a little bit of that, winning dust on the Chelsea pitch, and hopefully we can follow steps in their footsteps next season. So yeah, no, those are my final words.
All right. Well, thank you as always. We'll see you guys on Monday. Adios.
Peace.